I hate the early mornings. It's always a bit of a struggle for me, as I suppose it is for most of us. This day I was determined to get out early. And I did jump in my car well before sunrise for a lovely 2-hour drive to today's location for some proper landscape photography adventure at a very special place. See you on the location.
Good morning, welcome to the other cliffs of Scania. I kind of practiced my chest before going here. You never know if you run into Death himself here. It's a bit of an obscure reference for you, if you're not Swedish. If you're Swedish, might still be a bit obscure. Anyhow, it's this really dramatic, interesting coastline up here in the northwest of Scania, so the most southern part of Sweden. With quite interesting cliffs and rock formation, that sort of thing. And I've just taken my first couple of images here, and I'm just waiting for the sun to start rising above the cliff over there, illuminating the scene a bit more, and I'll take another image before packing up and going on a bit of a hike today. So I kind of struggle with composition here. It's easy to be drawn to the very dramatic sea here and the sea stacks out here. But I ended up turning my camera upward, facing the coastline here. We have quite an interesting looking rocks and cliff formation, that sort of thing. I think it does for a bit more interest in the image. I hope, at least. We'll see when we have the film develop, as always. Shooting with the Hasselblad, I have the standard lens on, and we put on a red filter, and this is Delta 400. I have a couple of other film rolls with me because we are out for a whole day of adventure today. I hope the image works. So that's it for sunrise. Well, it wasn't much of a sunrise, was it? I always cut it a bit late. Wouldn't have made too much of a difference today as the sun was hid behind the hillside. But I wish I had some more time to scout location here and find a really good composition. Did the best I could with the limited time I had. The idea for today is actually do a proper little hike. We have like 8-10 kilometers to cover. And we are staying out from sunrise to sunset. Very great cracking. This part of this little hiking trail I'm on, and it is a proper hiking trail. This is part of Skåne, which is a hiking or trekking network around Skåne or Scania. It's really beautiful and nice walking through this little very narrow walking path. And you then have like the roaring sea, and every now and again you do get a bit of a vantage point like over here. But it's terrible for photography. There's nowhere to put your tripod. And if you're going handheld, there's really nothing to frame up except the walking path itself, and I don't really feel it's special enough. So we'll just push on. Hopefully we'll get some more open space in a little while. So I've been walking through this very narrow walking path, and we come across this very chaotic birch woodland, and I do love myself some birches. I'm starting to sound like a broken record there, but they work incredibly well in black and white. And what actually caught my eye here was how the sun sidelit these birches here in particular. And we have a couple of leaning birches, and among them we have a couple of evergreen trees, and that contrast, yeah, that's interesting to me. I did take a shot of it. Shot at the f16 at 1/8 of a second, and just focusing on the first birch, and then everything else just falls where it falls, and I think will look okay as a black and white image. Let's push on. I need to get some lunch and find a nice lunch spot eventually. What a lovely spot for a bit of lunch. We have this really nice viewpoint over the Scanian landscape here. It's just beautiful, very scenic, but no real opportunities for photography at this spot. And the kind of woodlands I've been moving through here, well, not the best for photography either. And I didn't know that going into this. I've actually done this hike twice before, but last time was well over 2 years ago now. It's about 8 kilometers round trip, but when you're filming yourself like I am doing today, you kind of have to double the time it takes. So usually it takes 4 or 5 hours. So today I reckon it would take 8 to 10 hours. So we'll probably be back at around sunset. So it's like 1:45 now, and the sunset's at 5. I hope we'll make it. We are just about halfway, perhaps even a bit more than halfway. This is the highest point we'll reach. We'll start heading down towards this small village called Kattvik, I think it is. Apparently Richard Gere went skinny dipping there once in time. If that's interesting to anyone, I don't know, but I read it somewhere. So we'll start heading down there and see if we find any photographs on the way. Otherwise, we have that rocky beach to look forward to.
After a very well-deserved lunch break, I headed down towards the beautiful village of Kattvik. I do suppose this is quite a popular place in the summertime. This time of year though, it's rather quiet. I did however meet this lovely gal. Someday I might explore these picturesque villages a bit more in this area, but not today. Instead I headed back towards Hovs Hallar. I suppose some of the locals here are a bit tired of us tourists, walking on the driveway and that sort of thing. Especially here. First a warning sign about loose dog, then one about the security alarm, and the kicker, warning for the loose ram. Instead, there is a small path right next to the fence that you follow back into the majestic Hovs Hallar. It leads to this almost alien looking part of the coast here, especially on a rainy and tourist-free day like today.
So I did find one image here, kind of hard. The problem of having finding balance in images, we often have like rock formations sticking out in the sea here, but then you end up with a total blank canvas. Could look cool, like super minimalist, but couldn't find any photos like that. What I did manage to do, or what I did instead, was I have these like rock formations here. So I have 2 or 3 of them, nicely separated. And then in far end we have that quite majestic cliff formation. We were there at the start of the day, and including some of the rock formation I'm standing on here. It might work. It's not as much negative space, but there's still some. Up at the right hand side of the image, it's just a lot of negative space. I'm not sure if that works. And I'm sorry if I'm yelling a bit, but it is quite windy, so I hope you can hear me. And we are going to start heading over there and try and find a path up there. Over there. There is supposed to be a path there. It doesn't look like it, but there is a path. I walked it before. So we'll try and find that and make our way into the more majestic, more dramatic cliffside. Did I say that I end up taking 4 images here? Because I have had a bit of a bad luck today. First, my filter adapter from my Hasselblad to normal threaded filters is stuck on this lens. I can't get it off. Luckily, I still can use filter on the lens. Secondly, I broke my cable release quite early on. I got a new cable release and it broke. And that's a beginner's mistake. You should always pack a backup. I didn't do that. So steady hands today. I might just do a backup image with digital camera, just in case my hands aren't steady enough. This part ain't for the faint-hearted. Luckily, it's not super long. But if you're afraid of height, you probably shouldn't go this hiking path. Strange thing is, it is marked on the official map. It's kind of crazy, I think. Anyhow, I'm glad it's over. Now the hard part here is, if I remember correctly, the path here divides in 2 ways. One kind of ends up in a dead end, and the other is the proper walking path. I do think it's right. Hope I'm right.
wind was horrendous here, and I did forget to turn on my recorder. What I was trying to say was that I initially looked on my left towards some rocks sticking out into the ocean. They just felt a bit boring as an image, and I did only have one frame left on the film. So instead I turned to my right and I did spot this row of rocks out in the ocean, lying by themselves. With the waves hitting them, it created this black and white line. Pushed that way down in the frame, creating a super minimal image, which perhaps isn't my forte, but it is fun to experiment every now and again. Did it work? Well, I'm not sure. Have a look for yourself. After that photograph, the light was fading, and I was a bit nagged to be honest, so I decided to not load any more film and call it quit for the day. A day I have put in quite the effort, being out for about 8 hours and hiking well over 10 kilometers for my photography. However, effort doesn't automatically equals good images. Even though the images turned out better than I thought out in the field, as they often do, these images aren't that great. And that's the way it goes. It ebbs and it flows. I try not to be down about it. Instead I try and enjoy the process and try and learn. And for me, landscape photography is as much about the journey as the end results. I do hope you enjoyed the video anyhow, and I'll see you in the next one. Do take care and bye for now.